Yeah, whatever you want to do, Ian. But this is the problem again. Not having full control. I don't want to.
I don't want. Stop telling the world that you don't have full control. You
I
can
don't want.
have control, but you also have to have the responsibility to then prepare for the control you have, buddy.
I'm not interested in that.
Flip is
Yes,
not
you
Flip
are.
is not about
Yes.
to ruin everything he building just to get at Danny. He talking shit. I don't believe none of it.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
I think you.
That's
I
his
think
off.
you smarter. Than
Something that started as a small show on the JBN network, which people would then eventually grow to love and adore. Some people will call this magic in a bottle, as the JBN network over the years have tried and failed to find a show that will compete with their number one show, that being the Joe Budden podcast. But behind the scenes arguments relating to business on the Improper Improv show, to damn near crash outs on Twitter every other day, we are going to talk about what happened to Improper Improv. Now, this all started on March of 2023 when Joe would go live on the JBN network to premiere a new show that he had. Now, some Joe Budden fans knew about this because some Joe Budden fans are diehard and they know everybody surrounding the podcast, so they were in the know of a show coming. But apart from the diehards, people had no idea a show was coming, so people were very interested as to what was going on. And people were actually excited as well because Joe would allude to new shows or new concepts of the JBN network and changes that he wanted to make beforehand. But he would never commit to it until September of 2023 when episode 1 of Improper Improv went live. And what do you know? People actually liked it. People liked how engaging it was. People loved how we saw a different side of Joe and a different side of Flip as well. And people also loved the interaction, that the live aspect of the show. Because when you go live, anything can happen. So that kind of made it kind of exciting as well to watch. Because on the Joe Budden podcast, it started out raw, it started out unfiltered. And that's like one of the many things that the fans miss about the podcast. Because a large portion of the JBP fans, they would say Joe has changed a lot. He has different deals, he has different sponsors, so he kind of has to uphold a positive reputation in a sense. So he can't really go back to the 2017, the 2018 days where he could really say what he felt in his heart without backlash or losing money. So seeing this different side of Joe on Improper Improv, especially with the first episode, it kind of felt like we had the old Joe back. So after the first episode, obviously Flip and Joe, they saw the positive reviews, and it really just seemed like they did it on a fly. Like, when I watched the first episode, it didn't really feel structured like that. It didn't feel produced. And that was kind of the thing that people loved as well. Like, some people just like when it's just improv and when it's just off the cuff. And it was like that for the following episodes. They had chefs come through, they had animal enthusiasts come through, they had a mariachi band come through. Like, it was just a circus in the in the greatest way. Now, this went on for a couple months until the beginning of July. Then everything stopped. And people were wondering why it stopped, because they had a really, really good show going. And every time the fans would ask Flip or Joe or Ian where the show has gone, if the show is coming back, they would be very, very elusive. They wouldn't really answer the question. They'll just deflect. They wouldn't answer the question at all. And it kind of made the fans frustrated. So much so that even Flip himself would go after Ian and ask him, when is his show coming back? And Ian would also be very elusive. So much so that they would take it to Twitter. Yes, people. They would take it to Twitter. They would open up spaces, various spaces, and they would talk about their business, and it would become very, very messy at times. So messy that vlogger Danny from the Stop would say something. Well, he would say various things. He would make various videos on Flip and how disgruntled he is with his contracts and how outlandish he is and how he just acts very, very wild. So much so that Joe doesn't really punish him like that. Joe or Ian, for that matter. The only thing that he has been semi-penalized for was the Melissa Ford situation. But even then, Flip was paid on his suspension. So he really got a paid vacation. So much so, even Ish, yes, even Ish was mad at this. So Danny would just go on to explain, amongst other things, that when it comes to Queen's Flip and him being punished, he doesn't get punished, he doesn't get penalized, he just gets much more grace, in a nutshell. He gets much more grace than his other co-hosts. Now, Flip would go on and respond to Danny multiple times. Well, not just Danny, a lot of other fans as well, and he would just go ballistic. He would go crazy.
I'm 7-0 with bloggers putting hands on them. 7.
I want to open this can of worms because this nigga has already told you verbatim, if you hit me, I'm going to sue you.
Duke, let me ask you a question, Duke, because I
Yo,
like you, Duke. I like you, Duke. So, do you think that is so? How should I handle a situation like that with somebody saying, "Yo, I want no problems. I don't want no smoke with you. I'm not a street nigga. I don't want to," but then insult me as a man. Like say, "Yo, you are all word, right? Mentally ill.
yeah,
Call me out my name. Say these things that I know that if we were in person, I will respond to differently. How am I supposed to handle that?"
this is easier said than done, I know, but do what Joe does. Ignore the fuck out of these niggas. You responding to them is just making that platform bigger.
But not only would he go at Danny from the Stop and other fans of the JBP, he would also go at Joe's manager. Yes, Ian. He would also shoot at Ian in front of the JBP audience on Twitter Spaces.
Outside, right?
Well, listen. I'm gonna keep it real though, Ian. For real, I'm gonna stop coming on spaces with you too, Ian. Because what happens is that your
What?
tonality, you give these people on practice.
What about my tone is bad?
Listen, I just want to be clear.
Joe, am I being tone deaf?
No. Listen, I want to be clear. He can't answer that. I'm answering. Listen, I don't like your tonality when you come up here in front of these people talking to me the way you're talking to me, and I'm being 100% serious. Now, because I respect you and we cool, I'm gonna be mindful. But just if you see me coming up here going off, just fall back. Don't come up here because what's happening is that you're gonna be me and you gonna get into it because you be saying things. These niggas is feeding off of you. It's not funny. Not playing with none of these niggas. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with nobody. Or due respect at all. Not playing. I don't like none of these niggas. You know I don't like them. I respect you. You my man. You coming at the wrong time. These niggas is playing around, saying things, and I just think that it's just the wrong time for you to come with the Ian shit. Like, yo, hey, Flip, it's not the wrong time. I'm going off. I'm going off on them.
Now keep this in mind. This happens for a year and a half. So this is a long time. This is 18 months of flipping out, no pun intended, going after fans, driving to where they live. This is after Flip continuously arguing on a podcast about his contractual issues. This is after a lot of things happen. So, in October of this year, out of nowhere, we finally get a post regarding the return of Improper Improv Season 2. Then a few days later, we start to see online that billboards have been posted about Improper Improv Season 2. So we are seeing announcements, we're seeing billboards, we're seeing marketing here. So the fans are very, very excited because this has been a year and a half in the making. Now, not only were fans excited about this show coming back, Melissa Ford's podcast was also about to drop until it got changed the very, very last minute. But before then, people were very excited about these two shows coming out. a lot of people were talking on Twitter's Spaces about the podcast shows coming out. They were talking about projections of what the numbers would be like, as it was highly anticipated. And we finally got to the day of Improper Improv Season 2, Episode 1. And as everybody tunes in, everybody's on Twitter, they see... Oh, man. I can't even sugarcoat this. We see a One Piece set. Yes, that anime show. We see a One Piece set. We don't see the skyline of New York City. We don't see those beautiful white couches. We see a studio. It looked like a birthday party, honestly. The set was horrible. The production was horrible. The sound was horrible as well. There was a lot of technical difficulties. There was a lot going on, honestly, and it wasn't great. It was a bad first episode, so much so that after the episode, Flip would take to Twitter and he would kind of lash out on Ian again.
No, I didn't have. You think I would have allowed that therapist to ask me gay questions? Yes or no?
Allowed you to?
Do you think I would allow the therapist to ask me gay questions? Yes or no? Like, yes, you would allow it, or no, you wouldn't. I just knowing me. Do you think that I would have put that there?
For the sake of content, yes.
You're lying. You know I wouldn't have did that because we have conversations all the time about it.
But
And
Flip,
you know I don't like that stuff.
Flip,
You
don't
just
that
lied.
Flip, don't that
But you
take
just
away?
lied.
I
You just lied. Now I'm tight. Now I'm tight now because now you lying on the.
Listen. Don't you think that take away from the improv thing?
I don't give a fuck.
But that
Now
was the
I'm
wrong
upset now because
name.
Ian, my man, he just came and lied on me.
Now, to provide context as to what you just heard, Flip didn't know that Ian, for the first episode, booked a therapist. And Ian asked this therapist to ask questions that made Flip uncomfortable. And the question was, do you swing that way? And then Flip said he almost lost it because he doesn't like white men asking him certain questions to kind of emasculate him. So he then went to Ian and he pressed Ian, and then Ian confessed that he told the therapist to ask him those questions. He would then say he doesn't like how Ian is producing the show because Ian obviously it's on a network. It's on the JBN. So Ian has something to do with Improper Improv. People think Flip has 100% control when in fact he does not. Now, due to the bad reviews of Improper Improv Season 2, Flip then decides to take a week off. Now, I don't know why he decided to take a week off. Maybe he just wanted to, I guess, kind of make the show better. But as episode 2 commenced, and episode 3 for that matter, it was bad. People were complaining about the sound again. People were wondering what was happening. People were kissing pigs. People were on the floor doing push-ups. It was very random. There was very large women getting massages for some reason. There was a stripper. It was just... It just wasn't the same as season 1. It wasn't as organic. And it seems like they've gone back to their old ways because in the latest episode, Flip and Ian sit down and talk about contractual issues again. Like they haven't done it various times on the JBP. But I digress. At least one good thing came from that episode. Yes, one good thing. And that is Flip finally tearing apart that stupid One Piece studio. Because they never talked about One Piece in that studio, not even one time. So it was just there for decoration. Hopefully, they can go back to the New York City skyline. Hopefully, they go back to the original JBP studio. Because at least it would somewhat feel like the old episodes. And, seeing as the JBP is filmed there, the fans will feel like it's another part of the JBP when it's really not. But it is at the same time. But at this point, it's just seeming like Improper Improv is not the same. It's really not. I try to sugarcoat it. I try to at least give it grace. But we're I think 3 episodes in, and it's just not getting better to me. I've really tried. And some people would say that Joe and his co-hosts, they only do well when Joe is present. And now with this Melissa Ford podcast doing very, very bad, and the Improper Improv show doing bad also, each day is starting to become reality. I mean, can these guys really create without Joe being present? Let me know in the comments, man. It's your boy The Kitchen. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. I want to know how you guys feel, though, honestly. Do you guys like Improper Improv? Which season do you prefer? Do you like season 1 or season 2? Do you tune into Melissa Ford's podcast? Let me know. I need to know if these guys have traction without Joe being present. Do you guys also feel like Flip self-sabotages himself? Because he does strike me as somebody that performs well when the lights aren't on him, when he is free to do what he wants. But once there's a full production, a full budget behind him, I feel like he freezes when the lights are finally on him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Till next time, it's your boy The Kitchen. Deuces.
Y'all go above and beyond to make me happy. But also, you guys remind me of, like, yo, you got to be an adult and you got obligations. I don't want to be reminded about obligations. That's the truth. I don't want to be reminded about obligations and commitment. I have commitment issues.